Don't accept that there are rules. In editing, the whole point is to challenge every convention. Like, yes and no, my good sir, Martin Walsh. Film is still a relatively new art form. It's really only been around for a little over 100 years. But it does have some history behind it now. There are thousands of artists who have come before us who kind of figured out this thing that we call film and video. So, Martin is correct. Technically, there are no rules. But also, as with any art form, there are things that have proven over time to work well. There are things that if you do them, your video will probably just be better. There's over 100 years of history behind us now. So we have lingo, we have language. We started making things, we needed to call it something, we gave it a name, and now we've all kind of agreed on those names. Film as a concept is kind of odd. Film as a concept doesn't actually make a lot of sense. It's intuitive to us now, but as it was first being invented, people didn't really realize that if you put two shots back to back, that we might connect them, if that makes sense. There's a really famous film experiment where the filmmaker took a shot of himself and then put a shot of food, and then did a shot of himself and did a shot of a woman. And the audience found themselves making connections between the two. If you did a shot of food and then you saw a man, it looked like maybe he was hungry. If you saw a shot of a scantily clad woman and then you saw a shot of a man, it looked like maybe he was horny. Film plays off of human psychology and human emotion and human intuition. And film relies on the audience to essentially infuse it with meaning. You can have a series of seemingly unrelated shots and the audience could potentially draw emotional or intellectual conclusions from those shots strung together, whether you intended there to be a meaning or not. This gets like really artsy-fartsy. So this is film theory, trying to understand the concepts and the processes that have proven themselves to work over time, understanding the artists who came before us so that we can replicate it and then build off of it, understanding all of the tropes and the cliches that are tropes and cliches because they work, and then knowing why they're starting to become a little bit cringy and how to refresh them. And of course, learning the industry lingo and the industry jargon. Now, we're not going to be filmmakers. We're learning how to be professional editors, right? But we are part of the filmmaking process, and we are going to be hired by filmmakers to help them make their films. So we need to understand their language. Another interesting note about rules in general as well is we're constantly inventing new ones as we break them. Because again, the rule is really just kind of the way that we've done it thus far that seems to continue to work. But then a new medium comes along and it breaks the rule in a really good way, and suddenly things start to change. A perfect example of this is the jump cut. In cinema, there are some very clear rules that we'll talk about needing for a shot to feel significantly different than the shots before and after it. It can be disorienting if a frame only moves a couple of degrees. So cinema always tries to make each shot feel fresh and new and clearly different than the last shot. Then YouTube came along. And for mostly time efficiency and technology limitation reasons, a lot of YouTubers started doing the jump cut, where they would have a stationary camera and they would talk, and then they would cut in between their sentences to speed up their talking, but they wouldn't go to the effort of zooming in and out or changing the angle at all. So it was just a static shot broken up by a series of cuts, which was a huge no-no in cinema. But now the jump cut, thanks to the internet, is like part of our filmmaking repertoire. And not only does pretty much every YouTube video ever use it regularly, but even films and cinema that are trying to appeal to younger audiences, even cinema is doing a jump cut, is my point. So it's kind of it's a loop. We have rules and we try to follow those rules, and then a new medium or a new technology or just a new filmmaker comes along, does something different. It actually works for the audience, and so then it starts to become more of the new norm. So we're going to talk about my understanding of all of the current filmmaking rules and what cinema is supposed to be. And you're going to get good at following the rules so that you can break the rules. Welcome to art. They're more like guidelines.